What's up, Planeswalkers? It's your boy K-Dog, back in the early access event. Thanks to Wizards of the Coast for sponsoring me for this, along with all the other great content creators. So this one, we're looking at a Gruul list that's built around Trample. Of course, Quartzwood Crasher has been around for a little while now. It's a 5-mana 6/6 Trample. Whenever one or more creatures deal combat damage to a player, create an XX green elemental or green dinosaur beast token with Trample, where X is the amount of trample damage those creatures dealt. Alright, so that just basically totals up the total amount of trample damage and gives you one single token based on the aggregate total. I hope I used that right. So we did get some new synergy here, but a lot of familiar faces. A couple Embercleaves here obviously works extremely well with Quartzwood Crasher. We have the 2 copies of Elder Gargaroth. Vigilance, Reach, Trample, 6/6. In all these modes, you can draw a card, gain some life, or make 3/3s. A couple copies here of Wildbonder. When you have trample creatures out, this is fantastic against the other creature-based decks, where you can kind of have your trample creatures deal damage as though they weren't blocked, so you can potentially just kill your opponent even though they have blockers. Even big creatures, doesn't matter. But obviously on its own, it's not really great. It is just a 4/3 Trample for 4 mana, so it's okay, but just the upside of having it, it's a little bit situational, so just 2 copies. 4 copies here of the Gemrazer. Not sure how often we'll be mutating this, but we're just happy to play this as a 4/4 Reach Trample, honestly, because Trample is such a huge part of our deck. Obviously, it's a focal point, so we're fine with that. And if we do need to mutate it, maybe deal with like some equipment decks, then we can. We have a couple copies here of Rada we can mutate onto if we have to. Otherwise, we can just kind of help us kind of ramp a little bit and just being a powerful late game with activated ability here, and then 3/3 first striking lets us be aggressive as well. Finally, a new card here, Shatterskull Charger, red, and 1 for a 4/3 Trample Haste, kicker 2. If it was kicked, it enters with a +1/+1 counter on it, so you pay 5 mana, it comes down to the 5/4 Trample Haste. Seems pretty reasonable. If you didn't kick it, then basically it goes back to your hand. Well, technically, if it doesn't have a +1 counter on it, it goes back to your hand. So you can play this for 3 mana and have a 4/3 Trample Haste that goes back to your hand, which is actually pretty decent against like if your opponent's going to be shattering your skies next turn, you can get in for damage, then it goes back to your hand and it's protected from that board wipe, and you can just keep doing that over and over again. So that's pretty interesting. 4 copies here of Ramp 3 as our removal of choice. Of course, we deal damage equal to our power to target creature we don't control, and if that creature has Trample, which pretty much all of our creatures do, then the excess damage is dealt to their controller, their player. Another new card here is the Kargan Intimidator. It's a 2 mana 3/1. Cowardice can't block warriors, and we can pay 1 to give it to any of these abilities that hasn't already been chosen. We can make it a +1/+1 taunt of turn. We can have a target creature become a coward in taunt of turn. Of course, cowards can't block warriors, and we can have target warrior gain Trample in taunt of turn. So obviously the Trample here is mostly what we're looking at. So having a 3/1 Trample for 2 mana is pretty sweet. We do have to put some mana into it, but we'd have things like Elysian Caryatid to kind of help us out with that. And it does give us a kind of an aggro 2-drop here that can be pretty nice to help us put our opponent on the back foot. Caryatid here is also another target for Gemrazer potentially to mutate onto. Otherwise, it just taps for 1 mana of any color. And if we have creature power 4 or greater, which we have obviously some, then we had 2 mana of any 1 color instead. Just a 2 mana 1/1. But obviously, it's just there to kind of give us some ramp and fixing. Then finally here, a couple of other new cards here. Moraug, Fury of Akoum. It's 6 mana 6/6. Each creature gets +1/+0 for each time as attacked this turn. And Landfall, which is what everyone's really excited about. Whenever your land enters battlefield under control, if it's your main phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase. After the beginning of combat, untap all creatures you control. So that's pretty interesting. Shatterskull Smashing kind of gives us a land that's also removal. And this one's pretty fantastic because we can pay 3 life to have it come in untapped if we want. And then we can pay X red to have it deal X damage divided between up to 2 creatures and or planeswalkers. And if X is 6 or more, it deals twice that damage instead. So that's pretty interesting. Alright, mana base here. With Gruul, it's actually not that bad. We'd have the Cragcrown Pathway, which can also be the Timbercrown Pathway. So this comes down as a red or a green source. Does not count as a basic to tutor up with a Fabled Passage, so that's something to keep in mind. But does not come in tapped either. So this gives you fixing for red or green at any point in the game. So 4 mountains, 8 forest, 4 Temple of Abundance, because we're kind of forced to play temples now without shocklands. And then 4 Fabled Passage for some additional fixing. Obviously we have double green, double red, things like that, so we want to make sure you have the right mana at the right time. that's the list. We'll jump into a few matches and see how it goes. All right, up against Legend VD. Wow. This guy is my favorite deck builder, and now here I am. This is a pretty surreal feeling here. We're going to lead off with a Temple. Yeah, we'll take a 2-drop. We'll say hello to my one of my magic idols. Just an amazing content creator and deck builder. Play this. We'll pay the life. Get the Caryatid down. Maybe just Rada here, try to dig for some lands. Showing Simic so far. Probably going to get owned, but that's alright. Don't think we want another one. Let's go and play Rada. Results. It is a land. Okay, so now we have another land coming up next turn. So we have 5, potentially 5 mana open. Seagate Stormcaller. Simic. Opt. Nope. Stern Dismissal. Ah, why are you so rude, LVD? My goodness. Look at that value. Look at that value. I think we still just run out Rada. See if it's a land. It is a land. Probably want to dig for a Quartzwood Crasher. Although if they're doing Stern Dismissals, then gotta work it out for us. Probably save the Wildbonders to throw off their combat. With low toughness, the Shatterskull Smashing could be useful as a sorcery side. Ooh. I thought about brewing around with that, but I haven't quite gotten around there yet. Alright, so we can deal, so that's 3 damage. Yeah. What? Oh, I was not paying attention. I think it must have done 2 to the Stormcaller. That's brutal. It's not paying attention. Well, now they have a million Drakes, and we're not doing a whole lot over here. But it's still just 6 power right now, and they're tapped out. I just want to get a couple creatures down and then Moraug, maybe? We'll see how it looks if we have time to maybe have one more setup before we try to Moraug. I know they have some bounce effects, probably running Petty Theft, Brazen Borrower. Or if they're trying to kick with the Drakes over there, they're probably got the that new was it Into the Royal or something like that? You can pay 2 to bounce something. You can kick it for additional 2 to bounce something and draw a card. So he must be running that in here as well. Keep it on top. Okay, 4 mana open. We're gonna get bounced here. Nope. Marasa Sproutling and swing 6. Well, we're down to 9. Time is definitely not on our side. There's a Quartzwood Crasher. A little bit too late. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the mana's open. Bouncing the Caryatid definitely set us back. We're going to try to Moraug here. Give Trample. So Rada has first strike. They'll probably block Wildbonder or Intimidator. So we want to kill the Sprout one. Come down to 4. We have a 6/6 on defense for this 3/3 without any special abilities. Could just go off and make a million Drakes. Oh, Vine Gecko. Okay, 4 mana's open. It's awfully tempting to get the Tuk Tuk Robofort, the 0/3 Defender Reach that gives your creatures haste in here, but if we're not playing with it, it just hasn't quite felt right. But obviously, if we had that now, we could haste in this Quartzwood Crasher. That would be pretty insane. So we have to hope there's land underneath the Quartzwood Crasher so we can trigger our Moraug. It is a Gemrazer. Alright. So again, we have 7 manas. So we don't have a whole lot of Trample. But we're... I think we just kind of have to go for broke here. Or do we? We're taking at least 6 in the air that we know of. They could have another kicker spell. We're gonna swing out and force them to make some blocks. Might just be dead on the crackback, but we're the aggro list, so we need to kind of force them to make these decisions. Obviously, it's LVD, so I'm sure he'll make some good ones. 2 cards in hand, though. They don't have great blocks. And with the Wildbonder, we can make the Shatterskull Charger lethal. Let's get the inscription. That is an instant, huh? Keep thinking it's a sorcery. Well, they gained a bunch of life, so that definitely threw off our math. Yeah, we're just dead on the crackback, it looks like. Figured he had something, man. That life gain, I was not expecting Inscription of Abundance. That was brutal. LVD though, not gonna complain about that. All right, we're in some card games. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. A lot of top end and just 2 lands. We can play the Intimidator, but don't love it. So we're gonna take a mulligan here. 3 lands is better. Ditch a Quartzwood, I guess. Alright, Temple. Wildbonder. Maybe just look for lands or Rada or something like that. Maybe we could Shatterskull next turn. Just carry it. It's a little more safe. Yeah, just kind of hope for better draws. Can always just either way we can flash in the or haste in the Charger next turn. See what our opponent's up to. Showing Forest. Alright, looks like they're on Gruul as well. Yeah, we'll take that. And we'll haste you in. free 4 damage there. Right, so we got land off top, so we can Gargaroth or Crasher. Alright, they're going for a Gruul landfall, looks like. Tempting to go Gargaroth, maybe try to draw some cards, but let's just Crasher. Let's be greedy. So next turn we have Ramp Through and Charger. Rada. And I'm sure you have a land. Trying to decide which land to play. Oh, you're stuck on 3 lands? Oh, that's what I thought. Nothing. Alright. I'd love to get down Gargaroth, but I think with we're trying to do landfall, let's go ahead and get that off the board. If they want to trade, that's fine with me. We'll keep the Caryatid back. They just take it. Got a nice little 10-10. So I'll just combine the damage of the 6 from the Crasher and the 4 from the Charger and give us one single 10-10. Now the only exception to that is Embercleave, because you're double striking, so that first strike will then count as one activation, one triggered ability for your Quartzwood Crasher, and then the second one will give you an additional trigger because you're doing damage twice. So that's kind of the only exception there. So that was pretty smooth. Alright, against Tecoctes or something like that. A lot of names I'm not familiar with. Man, double Embercleave? And we have 3 lands. It's pretty aggressive start if we can string some stuff together. We'll try it. I don't have double Embercleave at all in our hand. Alright, plains. So this is probably either party or equipment. Grab a green source. There we go, perfect. Yeah, we can play this as a red source and play the Intimidator. Then we have the Shatterskull Smash. We'll go and pay the 3 lands, 3 life. Yeah, because we need a red source. So we'll go ahead and play that down, pay the life, have you come down, and we'll swing up. If they want to block their Cobra, I'm happy with that. This Cobra can do some pretty nasty stuff. Double Cobra, oh boy. I don't know if they'll do anything this turn, but they're definitely setting themselves up nicely. Showing Bant so far. I'm assuming this is maybe an Omnath. Just turn 3, you know, play a second Cobra and a Uro. No big deal. Well, we'll go ahead and haste this guy in again. It's a little awkward with the Chargers and Embercleave. We can't do both. It's not for a few more turns, but the way they're going off over there, not sure we're going to live long enough. We're down to 9, which is okay. Yep, there's Omnath. Fabled Passage ready to be cracked. I'll have to do some broken things. We're all a little skeptical that Omnath might not make much impact, but from what I've seen today, it's definitely going to impact Standard. Competitive Magic, it's definitely going to have an impact. Especially when you look at Lotus Cobra, Uro, things like that. Now, if Wizards can clean up some of this stuff, then, you know, we'll see. Uro number 2. Yeah, that's probably just game at this point. I mean, Uro's just like a backbreaker. If you're not able to kill your opponent before they start gaining a bunch of life, and then they just draw cards and ramp out and get to their big power plays. Just not really much you can do. Yeah, we're basically out of this game, but we'll give it a little bit so you guys can kind of see what these decks are capable of if you haven't seen that already. So now they can play their Fabled Passage again. I'm going full aggro there. Yeah, grab a red source. I mean, we're probably just dead no matter what we do. But we'll go ahead and kick it. 5-4, not good enough that I can do a 5-7. Fabled Passage, triggering Omnath, Lotus Cobra. I mean, this is just day one. People already doing just like crazy busted things. And wait till people actually tune these decks. I mean, this is, I don't know if Omnath is going to be the deck to beat, but I won't be surprised. Just put it with Lotus Cobra, Ugin, Uro. Will not be surprised if that becomes the new deck to beat in all of Standard. Yeah, that's 2 5-7s down there. There's no chance. No chance. Even if we thought maybe there was. They're out of 3 cards, so maybe they're just stalled out here, but not likely. Got an ultimatum here, I assume. And their turns just take so long. It's just like, okay, dude, just kill me. I don't need you to like combo off for like 20 minutes. More lands. It's going to trigger Moraug. It's going to take additional combat steps. Look at all those triggers. I mean, look at how much mana they're producing. I mean, you don't even need Fires of Invention or Wilderness Reclamation. Like, can you imagine Wilderness Reclamation, Expansion, Explosion with this kind of stuff? This is what, like turn 5? I think we've curved out every, make the land drops every turn. Maybe their turn 6. But look at their board state. I mean, that's just insane. That's their second Omnath. They have all the mana in the world to just do like anything they want. Yeah, no blocks. Just kill me. There we go. Just value. You just play so much value. It's just insane. And we have the ultimatums as like kind of like our top end right now. Is like our big, flashy, powerful spells. But other than that, like we don't have a ton of big mana plays. I think we still have those X burn spells in Standard, I believe. Was like Volcanic Geyser, so you could probably do like try to do like a focused deck around that. Just make 1,000,000 mana. But from what I've seen, all these piles they're just value piles, and somehow the mana base just kind of works out, especially with Arena, because it kind of tends to smooth things out, particularly in Best of 1, or at least in Best of 1. So even though you're running like 4 or 5 colors, you still, it doesn't even matter. Even though all the good lands are rotated, and you're still running all these colors with less than ideal mana bases. You can still just do some ridiculous things. But yeah, obviously it's pretty crazy when you get to see people doing stuff like that. And you know, we're here with our fair little, just our little Trample deck, which would have been probably super strong in previous standards, but now it's just not good enough. Been trying to tune this off and on throughout the day. Been trying to kind of figure out ways to make it a little bit faster, but obviously we don't have Paradise Druids or things like that. You know, we do have the Caryatid still, or the there's a human one, but I think just having the option of mutating onto the plant makes the Caryatid worthwhile. Just have a little bit upside if you know, the power 4 or greater to 2 mana maybe could be useful in certain situations to help you Embercleave or something. But yeah, obviously Quartzwood Crasher is just, it's a strong card in the right matchups, but if your opponent's doing broken things, it just doesn't matter. Moraug is pretty sweet. Obviously our opponent had it and did some pretty nasty stuff to us. Not quite sold that it belongs in this list, but it seems like it's worth running, so I'm going to keep running a couple copies and try to figure that out and come up with a sideboard and make this like a reasonable best of 3 list. Shatterskull smashing as a land or a removal spell seems pretty good. I know others have made the mistake, and I even made this mistake myself, where you think you're doing X damage among those 2 creatures or planeswalkers. So you do cast it for X equals 2, and you think you're doing 2 to each of them. No, it's 2 total. Obviously against LVD, I wasn't paying attention, and I did 3 damage, but somehow it assigned the damage wrong, and so I wasn't able to kill the right things. But I think he was going to get me there anyway, with that life gain and everything at the end. But yeah, just something to keep in mind. This is the total amount of damage. You have to divvy that up among those 2 targets, 1 or 2 targets. Just keep that in mind. But this is a powerful card. You're going to see a lot of this as a land that can also be removal. It's pretty sweet. So yeah, something pretty cool we got from Zendikar, and these lands as well. Just waiting for the rest of these, obviously, so we can have a little bit more options for or smoother mana bases for different colored decks we want to go to. Yeah, Shatterskull Charger seems like it's a pretty sweet card. Definitely going to see a lot of play. I would imagine. It seems like it's going to be a pretty strong card. Trample Haste, 3 mana, 4/3. Seems pretty good. Cargan Intimidator. You know, that 1 toughness is obviously a bit of a drawback. But I think if you build your deck the right way, if you're just able to kind of go wide with warriors or just other kind of aggressive strategies, then it's going to be pretty sweet. Just give us a nice 2-drop here to kind of be aggressive, get some trample damage, but haven't really got a ton of value, so maybe this could be something else. Maybe just like some more removal spells like Scorching Dragonfire or something along those lines. Just kind of stay ahead of our opponent's stuff. Exile seems like it's going to be pretty important, so anywhere you can kind of fit in some exile removal, that could be pretty key. We've seen like some of the cleric decks I saw earlier, they did have some nice kind of reanimation strategy. Can't remember what that card is, but you can get stuff back out of your graveyard, and of course you have like that 1/1 cleric lifelinker that when it dies and then it comes back, it's you get to basically replace it with a 5/5 demon, so stuff like that. It's gonna be pretty powerful, so any exile removal is gonna help you out as well. Rada, I think she's kind of a nice glue here, since we're more of a late game deck with our 5 mana plays and 6 mana plays. Wildbonder, obviously it's pretty situational. Could be like Questing Beast though. So I don't know. Probably needs a little bit of tweaking, but I feel like there's still Trample. I think is still definitely in the picture. Not for a super competitive play, but it's going to help you out to rank up to a certain extent, and definitely a fun deck to play in the unranked play queues. So yeah, this is kind of where we're at right now. We'll be trying to tune it and get a best of 3 list for you guys in the coming days. So thanks for watching, and until next time, make sure you jank with the